my thoughts. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my...
What the hell's going on, people? This is Periodik, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle Global in order to talk about June 2020 LR tier list. But before we get into the actual list and start to piss off everybody watching this right now, let's check out a message from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Ultra Dokkan Battle Store. That's ultradokkanbattlestore.com. They have tons of Dragonstone farmed accounts. Use Periodik15 as your coupon code for 15% off any order. So a disclaimer that I always have to mention at the beginning of these tier lists is this is my opinion. All right, this game is so diverse. It has so many different types of game modes that require completely different capabilities and, you know, techniques and passives and abilities and all of that stuff, that there really is no universal list. Okay, you can kind of just say like, hey, you can kind of just agree that one character is pretty good and another character is not so good, but then certain characters can be good at certain things and then be bad at other things, so it's very hard to generally categorize these guys, right? Hence why I like a tier list, not a 1, 2, 3 list, right? I don't like top 10s in regards to ranking characters. I'll make like silly lists, like the most useless categories, or like the mono leaders that have aged the best, like I did with a few of my videos. But I don't like saying this is the best character in the game, this is the second best character in the game, this is the third best character in the game, because typically they are not the best for every game mode. All right, there's certain characters that outshine others. So with all that said, let's get the bottom out of the way. We've gotten rid of Japan only. I'm pretty sure there's no one here on the bottom that is Japan only, that has not come out on global yet as of recording this June. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We also got rid of all of the free-to-play characters. They are not going to be judged. This is solely summonable LRs. And to start off, we are ranking this from the bottom, which is base form. Then you go to Kaioken times 4. Then you go to Super Saiyan. Then you go Super Saiyan 2. Then you go Super Saiyan 3. Then you go Super Saiyan God. Then you go Super Saiyan Blue. Then you're up at Ultra Instinct Sign. And then lastly, Mastered Ultra Instinct is pretty much like the Z plus tier, ZZ tier, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, keep in mind, all of these tiers, it's not like base form is like trash tier. You having an LR, especially if you're not like 1,000 days in and all this stuff, is still going to be good. They still do a ton of damage. So me ranking your favorite LR lower on the list doesn't mean he's trash. They're an LR. They're still good. Even all these free-to-play LRs are freaking good. So just, you know, take that, keep it in the back of your head before you start going crazy in the comments below. All right. So to start having you go crazy in the comments below, base form, we're putting LR Broly back into that base form. My last LR tier list, I did move him up just a bit, and this one, I gotta bring him back down. The reason why is a lot of people try to make the excuse for LR Broly that, hey, the reason why you should rank him higher is because he gives himself attack 80,000%, but his defense is negative 20,000, and that pretty much means that it only negates 20,000 defense. It's not a percentage base like certain other characters. And so the plus side of that is if the meta keeps on getting bigger and bigger with 170% leads, 177% leads, let's just say that we go to 180, 190, 200%, that negative 20,000 defense is going to mean less and less, because essentially that kicks in after the leader skill, and like, let's just say a support comes on rotation and gives him 50% defense. So if his defense starts off at 13,000, and then let's just say the leader skills are 200,000. Wow, that golem is so scary. I just noticed him right now. But anyway, his defense is 13,000. It gets boosted up 200%, 200%. Then there's a support on rotation that's giving him an additional 50%. Whatever that total is, let's just say, make up a number and say it's 150,000. 20,000 of it will get lowered, so he'll be at 130,000. Now, unfortunately, his passive works the same way. It's an 80,000 flat attack, so it's never going to go beyond that, and that's why he's at the bottom of the list. Because let's just say if his attack gets up to 150,000, right? The attack right there is going to go 80,000 more, and that's it. So he'll stay at 220,000, which is still not bad. That's not terrible at all. 230,000. That's not terrible at all. But if it was, let's just say, 80% attack, you would take that 150,000 attack and then multiply it again by 80,000, and so it would be way higher. So unfortunately, yeah, it would be like what, 120,000 on top of his 150. So he would be close to the 300,000s at that point. So unfortunately, that flat damage and flat defense are what hurts them. And not to mention the Vegeta and Nappa LR that just came out are a much better World Tournament unit than them, since there are a lot of AGL units that Strength Broly struggles to one-shot in the World Tournament. LR, Nappa, and Vegeta do not have that problem. There's really no tech units that you would bring. Maybe people bring Demon Kick Piccolo, but not really over on JP. So there's not really anybody. Jacko, I mean, come on, he's just going to get shredded. So that's the reason why Broly is in the bottom tier. You know, he was good for a while, but it is what it is. Let me just get rid of that. So who is joining him in the base form bottom tier? Well, none other than the wonkiest LR in the game, Goten and Trunks. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with Goten and Trunks, and they really like to keep having them have such a wonky, like, I get that it kind of fits their narrative because they screw up a lot and they do like really wacky stuff, like, you know, going into fat Gotenks and skinny Gotenks and stuff like that, or old Gotenks, whatever it was. But I feel like they shouldn't have done that with the LR version. This is an LR after all. So their 12 key when they're in, yeah, their 12 key is a 50% chance to go to either fat Gotenks or skinny Gotenks. Now, if they go fat Gotenks, they lower their own attack for one turn and cause colossal damage. If they turn into skinny Gotenks, they lower their own attack and defense, and they do colossal damage. Like, what were they thinking? Why? Why is that good? That is not fun gameplay, Gollum. That is not fun gameplay at all. Now, if they go into their 18 key, this is a character that, like, you need them to go into 18 key. And I feel like there was a lot of characters back in the day where if they got their 12 key, they weren't doing that much damage. And if they got their 18 key, all of a sudden they're doing ridiculous damage. So this one is, when he does his 18 key, he has a 70% chance to go Super Saiyan. And essentially he raises his defense by 30% for one turn. Mega Colossal Damage, all right, all that fun stuff. But there's a 30% chance on his 18 key for him to go Super Saiyan 3. And when he goes Super Saiyan 3, then you're greatly raising attack and defense for that one turn, which is 50% raise. And you're doing Mega Colossal Damage, which is really, really solid. Another thing that is really wonky, because again, you're only going to get that 30% of the time, which is pretty terrible. And that's only if you're getting 18 key. Another thing that's really wonky is his passive. 120% when he does a super attack, that's great. But random key 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, I'm not a fan of that, bro. You just can't depend on him getting 18 key supers if he's not getting a high amount of key. If he gets only 3 or 4 and you're not linking him that well with other people, then forget it. You're not going to be able to super attack. So that's another reason why Goten and Trunks is at the bottom of the list alongside of Broly. Now that's it for the base form tier. Now we're moving up to the Kaioken times 4 tier. The first one I want to mention is another unit that they kind of did what I was talking about with the weird, like, if he's not doing his 18 key, then he's really not doing much damage at all. And I can't say I'm really a fan of that design, but this Super Saiyan LR Goku really exemplifies that. So he gives himself 120% attack, or I'm sorry, 120% defense, which is great. Only when he does an ultra super attack does he gain more damage. That's it. Only if he's doing 18 key will he give himself a damage boost, which feels pretty bad, because you have this fantastic looking LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? And if you just do a normal 12 key super attack, guess what? You're like, the damage just isn't there. It's just not there. And it's a crappy Kamehameha animation. It looks horrible. You need to get 18 key on this dude. The 18 key super attack, first off, is beautiful because that's the finishing animation. It's like one of the first LRs with a beautiful finishing animation, right? And he gives himself 180% attack, which is insane. Unfortunately, he also lowers his defense by 70% when he super attacks, which is not great. Not to mention, he isn't left with a 50% defense boost because it's not subtracted. It's calculated separately, so he's only left with 30% of his defense boost, which is not particularly good. But when he does do his 18 key, he does greatly lower defense. His 12 key does have like a 10% chance to stun, but it is what it is. It's a 10% chance or 15%? 20% chance to stun. Okay, so that's not terrible, but it is what it is. So that's why that kind of holds him back a little bit. If you can't link, then he's just not really good, and his defense isn't particularly outstanding, but you know, what could you do? Another character who's similar to him and does a ton of damage, but I mean, let's be honest, his defense is left to be a little bit left to be desired. Also, he needs a better 18 key super attack. His 12 key looks fantastic, but his 18 key is not too good. Majin Vegeta, AGL Majin Vegeta, LR that I wanted for so long. I think his SSR art is one of the best in the game. Anyway, 150% attack when he's doing a super attack, which is really good. Hits extremely hard. Unfortunately, he has 0 defense. He's got 0 defensive links, so he just gets smashed very, very easily. He does have that rare chance to stun the enemy, which is 20% chance. Same thing with his 18 key. But here's the weird thing. This is one of the only guys where his Mega Colossal damage is on his 12 key, and his Colossal damage is on his 18 key. So kind of wonky, but that's what they decided to do. Anyway, main reason why he's down here, he just lacks defense. Like, his 12 key is fantastic, and that's what you should be doing all the time. You really shouldn't ever be doing his 18 key, but the fact that he doesn't have defense is what holds him back. So that's the Majin Vegeta. I still like him, but you know, you're just not gonna treat him like a top dog. One that I did have higher, but I'm gonna lower him on this scale, is the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Of course, we're talking about the Gohan, the intelligence one, the original Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. And the main reason why we have this guy low again is what I always talk about all the time. Defense. This dude has none of it. He does have a ridiculous amount of attack. 18% attack for every orb he gets. Doesn't matter the color. Every orb he gets, he's going to get 18% attack. And he gives himself an extra key when he grabs any type of orb. So that's fantastic. Doesn't matter if it's rainbowed. Doesn't matter if it's strength, AGL, tech, physical, you know, whatever. He's going to get 2 key off of those orbs and then 3 key off of intelligence orbs, which is really good. So it's super easy to get him 24 key super attack and then do his 18 keys. Speaking about 18 keys, he does greatly raise his own attack for 1 turn. When he does his 18 key, Mega Colossal damage, does ridiculous amounts of damage. His 12 key is only Colossal, but it's all good. His slinks are pretty good. Prepare for battle, shocking speed, all that fun stuff. But again, no defense. No defensive measures of any kind. So he just gets absolutely slapped. All right, so Kaioken ×4 tier is done. We are moving on to Super Saiyan tier. And the first person in the Super Saiyan tier, coincidentally, is not a Super Saiyan. He is LR Bardock. Now, LR Bardock, kind of a jack of all spades, does everything fairly well, but just doesn't do it amazingly, I guess would be the way to say it. This guy is a physical leader, 12 key, raises attack, 18 key seals super attack. So there you go. He's got a nice little effect on there. Gives himself a 70% attack and defense. Gives himself 30% attack when he's doing an ultra super attack. Gives himself 4 key when he's only facing 1 enemy. Gives himself an additional 60% defense when he's facing 2 or more enemies. So he's actually pretty good. I do wish that he had like First Awakened or something like that as just an extra link, because that would have been an insane attack boost. But in terms of attack, he has like Saiyan Pride, which is solid, 15% attack. He's got Saiyan Warrior Race, just whatever. But like First Awakened, if that boy had it, now I understand it doesn't make sense because he's not Super Saiyan, but First Awakened, an extra 25% attack, that would have been crazy. But anyway, he doesn't have it. It is what it is. His attack can get good if you build an entire team around him, which you probably won't. But if not, then he's doing around 1 to 2 million damage. Yes, he can do more, I understand. But really, you're not going to be like nuking with this guy. That's just not what he's made for. And he's also pretty good on defense. He's just not like amazing on defense. He's not like, oh god, this guy's a tank. That's not who Bardock is. But he's good everywhere. He's just good everywhere. He's not great in any particular area. Hence why he is on the Super Saiyan tier, because he's starting to get to the point where you're like, okay, this is a valuable LR that I just got. Very, very good. But it's not like, oh my god, this guy's OP, okay? And the same thing goes for the Physical Cell and Cell Juniors. This is a card that I have a really hard time judging where he should belong, because there's a lot of times where he impresses the heck out of me, and then there's other times where he's just like, you ain't it, dog. You ain't it at all. So his 12 key is nice because he recovers 10% HP. I like any character that gives himself back health. It's always nice. And he raises his attack by 30% when he does his Mega Colossal on 18 key. He really wants to have multiple enemies, and I'm not a huge fan of that. He gives himself 90% attack and defense. He gives himself an additional 1 key and 10% for every enemy there is. I would have loved if it was attack and defense 10% plus 1 key. Like, it would have been great if they gave him that defense, because, like, yes, he can do decent, defense with that 90%, but not really. Like, he can do some decent attack though on Super Battle Road and stuff like that, particularly with his 12 key, which attacks all, which is always nice, right? But besides that, again, he's a unit where it's like, this guy is meant for SBR. And you can even bring him into the World Tournament, though running up against Strength Broly, you're not going to have a good time. Or you'll also see a lot of Strength Zamasus. You're not going to have a good time. But yeah, that's one particular reason why he also is lower on the list. He's just not great for a lot of game modes. Like, yeah, you can use him on your team and whatnot, but he's just not really going to impress you, to be quite honest. So let's go back. There's the Physical Cell on that list. And that's actually it for the Super Saiyan list, because I do believe that the next tier up is where you start getting much better units. So first off, we're going to go with a unit that, again, is one that's hard to judge. I want to rate him higher, but I just can't. In the Super Saiyan 2 tier is Trunks and Mai. I don't know if you guys will agree with me on this one or not, but I just feel like they could have been much better. And there's some moments, again, like the Physical Cell, where they really impress the hell out of me. And then there's other moments where I'm just like, damn, really? Like, that's all you can do, dude? That's literally all you were able to pull off. So they're 130% Time Traveler's lead. There are better Time Traveler's leads. Obviously you have the the intelligence Goku Black, which I love this card. I know a lot of you guys don't, but I do love that card. We are still looking for 170% Time Traveler's lead, so hopefully that comes out very soon. Anyway, this dude and girl have a medium chance of stunning the enemy, which is a 30% chance for their 12 key, and then a 50% chance of stunning the enemy for their 18 key. So that's probably the best part of them. You have to essentially run this team on a Time Travelers. You can't really run this team on Joint Forces. You can't really run this team on Revenge. It's really just Time Travelers and Future Saga for the most part, though there are units on Future Saga that don't mesh with the Time Travelers. The reason why is he gives himself 70% attack, and then he gives himself attack and defense 10% for every Time Traveler on his team. Also, if he's facing a Future Saga enemy, which there isn't many, Goku Black, Zamasu, cats like that, then he's going to give himself 6 key and a 50% chance of dodging, which is nice, but it's limited. It is limited. I wish it was Time Travelers and Future Saga, just broaden it out a little bit. But like I said before, you kind of have to put nothing but Time Travelers on his team, or else he's going to do not great damage, million damage at most, right? Now, when you have a ton of Time Travelers, he can hit hard, 3-4 million, but the fact that, like, you have to put him on that team is kind of annoying. It kind of reminds me of the Physical Piccolo, where you have to have Nail on his team to unlock his links and let him hit 3 million damage, If not, then he's just not doing much, because he links 2 links at best with everybody else on his Worthy Rivals team. But this Trunk, I feel, is the same exact way. You have to run him on Time Travelers, and then you have to run certain units if you want to run Future Saga, which is essentially at that point just run Time Travelers. But Joint Forces, he's not going to be able to pop off. Revenge, he's not going to be able to pop off. There's just not many Time Travelers on there. So that is the LR Trunks. I wish he was better, but he isn't. Our next unit, who is pretty darn solid, and I actually really like, and I kind of debated on whether I wanted to put him higher, but we're going to put him here, is the LR Beerus and Whis. And the main reason why he is not higher, and I couldn't justify putting him higher on this list, is his links. His links are what hold him back, because if you take a look at what he does, he's pretty darn good. So he recovers 7% HP on his 12 key, and he recovers 12% HP on his 18 key. And like I said, I love characters that recover HP. It's very, very good. He gives himself 80% attack, and he gives himself an additional attack and defense 60% for 5 turns after receiving an attack. That is a little scary, though, that you have to get hit first before you gain your defensive boost. So if you're in something like Super Battle Road or whatever, you might die just from that initial hit, which kind of sucks. So you're kind of forced to use an item right away for this guy to take any kind of damage at all and gain that attack and that defense bonus. But he can hit extremely hard. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not going to go too far on this guy, but the main problem is his links. He's got Godly Power, which is pretty good. Prodigies, yep, not bad. Innocence, Connoisseur, terrible. Shocking Speed, pretty good. Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. The way that certain units are created, not a lot of people have all of those links. So he is almost completely isolated, where he has to link up with another form of Beerus, whether it's Physical Beerus or the Tech Extremes, the Awakened Beerus, or the Strength Whis. And that's really about it, right? Really, those 3 are going to really unlock his links. Anybody else, you're getting Fierce Battle, you're getting maybe Shocking Speed, maybe Prodigies, maybe Godly Power. But most likely, you'll at most get 2 of those 4. So that's kind of what holds him back. Continuing in the train of units that I really liked, and I had to lower them just a little bit because I guess I was overestimating them, is this Physical Trunks. This Physical Trunks, I used to not like whatsoever. I was just, this was back in the day when attack was everything and defense was not that important. And I don't know why, I just was not a huge fan of the 50-50 probability of his crit. I'm like, why don't you just give him guaranteed crit, man? I don't like the 50%. That's one reason why that's one thing I don't like about the Intelligence Goku Black, even though he's one of my favorite characters. I don't think he's the best character, don't get me wrong. I know he has a lot of flaws, but I just love his super attacks and whatnot. But anyway, was back in the day, I was like, 50% chance to crit, man, why can't it be guaranteed? Just kind of stupidly saying that. But he's a very, very good, well put unit. So 120% attack, 50% chance to perform that crit. Like, those are solid. Now, where's the defense? Well, his 12 key raises defense by 30% for 3 turns. That's pretty solid. And his 18 key raises defense by 30% for 3 turns. I do wish, and I would have ranked them much, much higher if it was his 18 key raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. If that was the case, he'd be very high up the list. But it does expire after 3 turns, so you have to keep on refreshing it. But all in all, he's got a pretty good kit. It's not too bad. I think the 3 turns thing kind of holds him back a little bit. But if you take a look at, this character, what he has over Majin Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Intelligence, Kid Gohan, is the fact that he does give himself defense. And so that Super Saiyan 3, Goku does give himself that defense if he's not 18 key super attacking. But if he's doing damage, then he's lowering his defense, which kind of sucks. Whereas this guy, if he's doing damage, he's giving himself defense. So as an OG LR to be up on this this particular tier that he's in, I'd say that's pretty impressive. Super Saiyan 2 tier, I'd say that's pretty impressive indeed. One LR that I wanted to put higher, and I'm debating whether I should. I don't know if I want to keep going into the next. Yeah, I'm going to leave him here. This is the LR Bojack. LR Bojack to me is still a fantastic unit. People sleep on this boy. They don't understand how good this guy is. But again, just like LR Beerus and Whis, his links hold him back. He does greatly lowered enemy defense on his 12 key super attack, and on his 18 key he raises extreme allies attack by 40%, which is insane. So put him in that first spot and everybody after you are going to hit 40% more damage. That's absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention he gives himself that 80% attack and defense. As he loses HP, he gains more attack. When he's at full HP, he gives himself an additional 70% defense, and then he starts losing it as he loses HP. But besides that, this guy is incredible. The main problem, Gollum, the main problem are his links. Heraclan and Galactic Warriors are horrible. Like, only the Bojack and like the Gokua and the Zangia and all those dumb characters have those links. And so he's really left with Big Bad Bosses, which isn't going to kick in until you're under 80%. Thirst for Conquest, which is pretty good. Revival, which is not bad. And then Shattering the Limit. So you're really just left with that 15% attack bonus when you're above 80%. But besides that, he's really good. I love this character. I'm trying to rainbow him because I think I need one more for the rainbow, and that would be my first rainbowed summonable LR. But yeah, I really enjoy this Bojack. But I had to make cuts, I had to make sacrifices, and so I did keep him at that Super Saiyan 2 tier. Now let's move up to the Super Saiyan 3 tier, and I don't want to hear anybody give me crap for this next one. It's gotta be Goku Black and Zamasu, who I think have aged the best out of LRs. Now, they kind of have the same issue that Beerus and Whis have, where they have to get hit in order to get stronger. The main thing with them is, and again, like I said before, you know, if you get hit first on SBR, then it's pretty much over. But they have a way to make up for it. So their 12 key raises their defense by 30% for 3 turns. So if you're able to super attack first, then you'll be able to withstand the damage, okay? And not to mention that, their 18 key raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. So like I said, if the physical Trunks had that, I would have rated him higher. Hence why I have Goku, Black, and Zamasu above the physical Trunks. Now, they recover 15% HP at the start of turn, Gollum. They really do, all right? You just keep on showing up, scaring the hell out of me. But they give themselves 30% attack every time they get hit, up to 120%. And I'm telling you, this dude could do 5 million damage easily on a bunch of different teams because he links up so well with like the Zamasus, the Goku Blacks, the, you know, and there's so many different of those characters. Like, it's absolutely insane. You got base form Goku Black. You got, you know, transforming Goku Black. You got Rose Goku Black. You got Zamasu. You have merged Zamasu. You know, it's just ridiculous how many there are. So there's a ton of characters that he links up fantastically with, and he could do obscene amounts of damage, and that's why I keep him in this particular spot. I still think that he's by far the best aged LR in the game right now. Now, another unit that shocked me with the amount of damage that the boy could put out was the LR Baby. I'm going to put him in the Super Saiyan 3 tier. This LR Baby, actually, you know, I did a showcase on him maybe a month ago. Whatever was the UI Goku banner, so I guess it was probably a month ago. And I did not pull the UI Goku. I went about 1,400 stones, close to 1,500 stones. But I did pull this guy, and this was the first time I ever pulled him. And I put a team together that he would normally run, Artificial Life Forms team. And, bro, this dude hit like 6 million damage. Of course, we were facing a Pure Saiyan and a Hybrid Saiyan in the same little team there. But he's really unique. So I love that he lowers attack on his 12 key, lowers attack and defense on his 18 key. I feel like more units should do that, especially when we're going into more of a defensive meta in the game, right? There's a lot of events that do a lot of damage, and you have to negate that damage or mitigate that damage. So he gives himself that 100% attack and defense. He also gives himself key and attack when there's a Pure Saiyan's enemy, key and attack when there's a Hybrid Saiyan's enemy, and then he's got that 50% chance of turning into a giant ape when you're below 40%. I do wish it was automatic, but it is what it is. Anyway, his attack is just great. Even if you're just facing a pure Saiyan or you're just facing a hybrid Saiyan, his attack is something to behold. And it really surprised me because I didn't think he was going to hit that hard. And the fact that he lowers the attack is really good. Like, he just does a lot of stuff. And he's on a ton of different categories. You know, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Artificial Life Forms, Transformation Boost. It's very, very good. And then when he goes to Giant Ape, obviously you're going to negate damage. I like that about a Giant Ape, that they negate all damage. And that kind of saves your butts in certain situations. Also, the fact that he gains an additional 1 key from every orb, which I think he's the only Great Ape that does that, which makes it so easy to do super attacks as that Great Ape form. So I really like this card. You know, he's just kind of good in every single area. Super Baby, very, very solid. Another unit who is very, very solid is this LR Full Power Frieza. The only LR summonable Frieza in the game. I did just pass the Fs, didn't I? Yeah, the only summonable, well, I guess if you want to say Goku Frieza is, you know, count that as an LR card. But the other one is obviously free to play. The other two are free to play. But this LR Full Power Frieza, super solid, does a ton of damage even without his gimmick. And that's what he does have. His passive skill, ladies and gentlemen, it's a gimmick. Let's just be serious right now, you know. His 12 key sacrifices 8% HP, which I'm not a fan of, but it'll make sense in a minute as I explain it. His 18 key, Mega Colossal Damage, raises attack by 30%, which is good. He gains more attack and key the less health he has, all the way down to 30% health. At that point, if we take a look down here, he'll be at 150% attack, 80% defense, and 9 key. So just like LR Cell, no one wants to get to 30% health. That is way too dangerous. And the reason for that is if you're an event that can bring you down to 30% health, there's a possibility of you getting one shot from that, from 30% to 0. And that's a concern. That's a big concern. You never really want to go there, especially where this dude gets his maximum boost. If he stays there, it's not like LR Cell, which gives you all your health back. This dude, it's like, no, you're going to get down to 30% and you're going to stay there, brother. That is not a good look. So he does do a lot of work, even without, you know, those boosts. And you're getting a little bit stronger as you go down, 90% health, 70% health, 50% health. And his links are pretty darn solid, right? Prodigies, for all the coolers and the Friezas and the metal coolers and the metal Friezas and all that stuff. Golden Friezas, all that, or golden coolers, all that stuff. He's solid. His links are great. But for those reasons, he's got to, you know, only end up on the Super Saiyan 3 tier. Another unit that's going to end up on the Super Saiyan 3 tier is the GT Trio. GT Trio do a lot of damage. They do a lot of damage, and that is what they're here for. Unfortunately, we're going to go to Goku here. Unfortunately, one thing that they kind of lack is a lot of teams that they can be put on. That's one drawback for the GT Trio. I think they're pretty darn solid, and they do good defense. Like, they're really good all-around unit. You know, they raise their defense by 33% on their 12 key. They raise their defense by 33% for 3 turns on their 18 key. That's solid. They give themselves that attack and defense 77% on their passive. If it's an Ultra, they're doing an additional 77% attack, which is crazy. They're giving themselves a ton of key if they're on Dragon Ball Seekers. But the only 2 teams that they're on is Dragon Ball Seekers and Joint Forces. That's the only 2 categories that they're on. Why they're not on the youth category? Like, listen, I understand that Kid Goku is actually an adult, but even still, he's a youth. He's in a little boy's body, so he should be in the youth category. Anyway, Joined Forces, you're just not going to put him on there. There's not many Dragon Ball Seekers on Joined Forces. Like, there's not enough that you're going to run that team. Now, there would have been if LR, Nappa, and Vegeta were on Joined Forces, or were on Dragon Ball Seekers, but I guess Bandai, you didn't do that, did you? Anyway, they do a lot good, but because they're so restricted on their categories, that's why. Like, they're really good, but they're restrictive. They really are. They're restrictive. All right, so let's keep it going. That is it for Super Saiyan 3 tier. Oh, wait, no, it's not. There is one more addition to Super Saiyan 3 tier, and he's the newest LR over on Global, or I should say they are the newest LR over on Global. It is the Vegeta and Nappa. Now, they may go up in the future if I ever get to use them, but for now, I'm going to leave them on this particular tier. They are nowhere near as bad as people think they are. Matter of fact, they're pretty darn good. They're just a little wonky, and I think they will get better over time. So they raise their attack and defense on their 12 key and on their 18 key, plus lowering defense, the enemy's defense, I should say. They give themselves that 78% attack. When their HP is 78% or more, they give themselves key. If they dodge, then they give themselves attack. Unfortunately, they don't have any passive that gives them dodge, just an active skill, which is kind of strange. And then whenever they're facing more than one enemies, they're going to give themselves 7,800 attack and defense per enemy, which is kind of strange that it's a flat number on a summonable LR. Very strange. It's almost like they were thinking this was going to be a World Tournament reward, and instead they just backed out at the last second. So very, very strange. But the active skill is kind of strange as well. Starting on the third turn of battle, you negate 50% of your attack, but you have guaranteed dodge, which could come in handy on a lot of difficult events. It can, especially on Super Battle Road, like I said. Could come big time in handy. But kind of strange. And if you're doing like Infinite Dragon Ball History or Legendary Goku event, longer events, you want to use that early because he will, on the fourth turn of battle, and once your HP drops below 50%, he will exchange with Vegeta. Now, Vegeta is very, very strong. Again, raises attack and defense. 18 key greatly raises attack and defense. Does mega colossal damage, massively lowers defense where it actually starts mattering. Gives you back health, 100% attack and defense. Gives himself a ton of bonus. When he's facing super class enemies, he's just like stacked up, and his attacks are effective against all types when his key is 24. So he can do a ton of damage. This card is very, very good when he's in the Vegeta state. He's actually like really good, but because the links are kind of weird with the over 9,000s, and if we go back to the Nappa, you know, the Saiyan Warrior races and the tough as nails and the Berserker, which is such a useless link. Like, you know, once they start adding more Saiyan Saga units, then I think this guy will be really good. But for now, he's going to stay in the tier that I have placed him in. Doesn't make him bad. Doesn't make him top tier. It makes him exactly where he's at. Moving now to some of the heavier hitters of Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And I think a lot of you guys will agree that some of the best aged LRs, we're talking about boys that are going on for 2 years now in the game. We got to have them as a pair. LR Gogeta and LR Vegeta. Whoopsie, putting them in the wrong tier. There we go. We put them in the Super Saiyan God tier. Now, these guys, we're just going to treat as one card because essentially they are the same exact card. They just have slightly, I don't even want to say different stats because it's almost the same freaking stat. It's actually ridiculous how they treat these two particular units, but let's take a look at both of them at the same exact time. So if we take a look at the Vegito here, Goku and Vegeta, intelligence type, both them and the Gogeta, the Goku and Vegeta, 120% attack, 120% attack and defense, 2 key for every rainbow orb that they grab, and once they drop below 50% HP, they are going to transform. They both stack attack or raise attack for 1 turn on their 18 key. Now, where they change up a little bit is in their transformation. Gollum, thank you for coming. Good God, didn't know you were there. So the way that they change here is the Vegito is going to counter with tremendous power when he receives a normal attack. The Gogeta instead will have their attacks effective against all types. So both of them are very, very, very solid. They're both at 150% attack and defense now. Like, just they do a whole lot, both of them. They do a whole lot. Links are great. They give themselves a ridiculous amount of key with that rainbow thing, and just, you can't say enough good things about them. They are both fantastic, and that's why they both deserve to be in the Super Saiyan God tier. Now, who else is in that Super Saiyan God tier? Well, someone that you may not think, because you're like, hey, where's Intelligent Cell? Intelligent Cell is also in this tier. A lot of people like to crap on Intelligent Cell and say that he's really bad and blah, blah, blah. I don't think he's bad, and I don't think he's, he deserves the crap that he gets. I think his his transformation condition sucks, just like Super Saiyan 2 AGL Gohan's. But everything else about him is great. 80% attack and defense. The more HP he has remaining, the more defense he gets. He gets an additional 80%, so he's very tanky. And he does the thing that Physical Cell does, where he gives himself 1 key, but this time he gives himself 20% attack per existing enemy. So he's really good on SBR, like very, very good. And I guess you can bring him into the World Tournament, but probably not, because he's only single target damage. Now, if you do get him to transform, which you have to get below 30% HP, which is going to be pretty difficult without getting yourself killed, right? He becomes an absolute terror, because at that point, he's going to give you all of your HP back. He's going to give himself 4 key and 120% attack and defense. And if he grabs 4 orbs, then he's going to give himself another 20% attack and defense. If he grabs 6 orbs, another 20% attack and defense on top of that. And if he gets 8 more orbs, another 20% attack. And he's going to give himself, like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Do they have this? Yeah, so it tells you right here, because a lot of this is calculated separately, his maximum boost, if he grabs 8 orbs, is 252% attack and 208% defense, which is fantastic. Not to mention he's got an active skill. Here we go, starting to go with the active skills. Greatly raises attack and does ultimate damage and massively lowers defense by 100%. You have to be facing only 1 enemy and 3 turns have to pass by, which is not terrible. It's not hard by any means. But yeah, so that is the Cell. I think he's really solid, and I think he deserves to be in Super Saiyan God tier. Another unit who deserves to be in Super Saiyan God tier is the Tech Broly. Tech Broly does deserve to be in Super Saiyan God tier. I couldn't find him for a second. Now, some people may think, hey, why isn't Broly higher on the list? I'm surprised that he's this low. I think this dude is really good and does a ton of damage, right? He does a ton of, like, just obscene amounts of damage. But with that said, and if we take a look at his, when he transforms, because his transformation is very, very easily. It's just on the 4th turn of battle, which is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. With that said, he's only got 100% defense. Now we got Pennywise? What is happening here with these ads? What is going on with these ads? They're very, very disturbing. But anyway, he's only got 100% defense, and that kind of hurts him. Let's not... He can get hit really hard. He is a glass cannon. He is. You know, if you bring him into the Super Battle Road, if you bring him into Infinite Legendary Goku event, or Infinite Dragon Ball History, Legendary Goku event, all that stuff, right? He's a guy where he's trying to kill you before you kill him. Because if he gets hit, he's going to get hit hard. But he can knock you out. He really can. But unfortunately, because he doesn't have that much defense this high up in the game, with no defense gaining on his super attacks, then I got to keep him in this tier. Maybe I'll change my mind next tier. I usually do have him higher, but for the, I don't know what it was. Maybe I just haven't been having a lot of great experiences with this Broly recently. But yeah, we're going to leave him here for now, and then we will see how it goes. Moving along on the Super Saiyan God tier, we are bringing Super Saiyan God Goku. Super Saiyan God Goku, phenomenal unit, especially in the first few turns of battle. Like, this dude just has an amazing kit for the first few turns, the first 7 turns. And he would be way higher if he wasn't as restrictive as he is. He is restrictive because he gives himself 77% attack, which is great. But you need pure or hybrid Saiyans on his team to be able to gain his defensive bonus, which he gains none unless if he has pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans, via his passive at least. And he gives himself ki that way as well. Now, the crazy thing is that for the first 7 turns of battle, you get a 52% chance to dodge and crit, which is pretty ridiculous. It is. It's nuts. 50% chance to dodge and crit for the first 7 turns is ridiculous. He greatly raises his attack and defense on his 12 ki, greatly raises his attack and defense for 3 turns on his 18 ki, which is fantastic. Not to mention he's also greatly lowering defense, which is fantastic. But the fact that he's kind of pigeonholed to be in teams with only pure Saiyans. And so where does that hold him back? Well, Goku's family, no. Pure Saiyans, no. Kamehameha, not really. Though you can't have like cells and stuff on that team. It's Realm of Gods. Realm of Gods, you can be on team. Because remember, the fusions are not on pure Saiyans. So if you have this LR God Goku next to, you know, the LR Tech Vegito or LR Strength Gogeta, they are not on pure Saiyans. You will not be getting the defensive bonus nor the ki bonus. Like what are they thinking there? You know what I mean? What are they thinking? If we go to legendary power and then we go to the super units and we go to tech and then we go to categories, what is omitted? What is omitted? If we go to last resort and we go to this boy right here, what is omitted? There are 2 pure Saiyans fusing together, and for some reason they do not make a pure Saiyan anymore. I don't understand it, but that's what holds him back. Is one of his teams, Realm of Gods. You're not going to be able to put a lot of the best characters on that team because they are not pure Saiyans, particularly those 2. Like, just silly. And then you have like LR Rose Goku Black that you can't put on there. None of the Zamasus, like none of those characters, right? Because they're not pure Saiyans either. So that one category kind of just falls flat on its face, unfortunately. Now, a character that does not fall flat on their face and who gives support to everybody and their little brother is the LR Androids. LR Androids, fantastic unit. Unfortunately, I guess they give support to all types of androids, right? That's what makes them great. That's what makes them fantastic. We'll just do 16 right there and go to the LR right here. So their support for androids, they're an android's lead. They give themselves attack, defense. They have a crazy chance to dodge super attacks. They are exchange units. 16 comes out. Like when you have 16 out, this dude could body anybody. It's absolutely ridiculous. 50% chance to crit. Like it's just amazing unit. But again, they're a great support unit. That's fantastic. But let's just say we want to put them on Siblings Bonds. Let's just say we want to put them on Android Cell Saga. Let's just say we want to put them on Joint Forces. Are there a lot of androids on those teams? You can kind of swing it and put a few extra, but it's not optimal. So really, you would only really use him on androids, Android Cell Saga, and Target Goku as well. So that's what kind of limits the dude. But if you have other androids on there, then he's gonna support them like crazy. Like these dudes are gonna support the hell out of those android cards, and they do damage, and they do defense, and they dodge, and they're exchange. Like they do a whole lot. They're all over the place doing a whole lot, and I for one like it. But because they're kind of restricted to just teaming up with other androids, or at least to get the best out of them. You don't have to, but to get the best out of them. Solid support, soul versus soul, not really links you're looking for, you know. But it is what it is. They're still pretty solid in my opinion. Okay, so let's keep it moving so we're not hitting 2 hours on this video. That's it for the Super Saiyan God tier. We're done with it. Let's move on to the Super Saiyan Blue tier. And first 2 are going to be Goku and Vegeta. Now, I actually had Goku higher than Vegeta on my last video, but I will pull them back and put them on the same tier again. And I really thought about it, and I'm kind of like, you know what? The difference is small, They both do pretty much exactly the same thing, just in reverse. So Goku gives himself attack first, and then he builds his defense. Vegeta gives himself defense first, and then he builds his attack. If we go over to, let's do legendary power. I probably should have done Shadow Dragon, but it's all good. And we'll just go to strength right there. There's the Vegeta. So he gives himself defense first, and then starts building his attack. They give themselves a ridiculous amount of ki. It's ridiculous. They have a 30% chance to dodge. And then countering with tremendous power, which is fantastic. The super attacks. They both have active skills, which is super easy. Just turn them on, hit them on the 4th turn. Tons of damage, all that fun stuff. But the reason why I had Goku ahead of Vegeta was because Goku's family is much better than Vegeta's family, straight up. And I love that Goku gives himself a ton. Look, he massively raises his defense on 12 ki, whereas Vegeta massively raises his attack. That's important because even though they give themselves those rainbow and they give themselves a ton of ki, if you're not building a team around them, then they'll hit their 12 ki every single time, but they may not hit their 18 ki. And so the fact that Goku really makes himself tanky on his 12 ki first is great. I think it's fantastic. And Vegeta can get hit fairly hard because remember, this 80% defense, Goku's going to get that too. He just has to wait 4 turns. But the fact that he raises his defense by 100% every single time he super attacks, that's pretty solid. So that's why I did have Goku above Vegeta. But after I thought about it, I'm like, the differences aren't so huge that I should keep having them separated. So I'm going to put them back on the same tier. I do think Goku is slightly better, but I don't think it's big enough to warrant moving him in another tier above those two. One other unit that I've always been hesitant on putting them higher up on the list, but I think I'm going to have to, are the LR Joint Forces Rep of Universe 7 Goku Frieza. I know this is a unit that a lot of people love, like absolutely. Man, when I'm not putting them as like the best unit in the game, people are pissed. Like people are mad. But for a while, I'm kind of like, listen, they don't gain defense unless they're attacking. So if they get hit first, they get hit hard. And the good thing is that they don't have to super attack to be able to gain that attack and defense 77% bonus. They just have to attack, which is not bad. But these dudes are all about damage. If you have the enemy in attack down status and you're doing an ultra super attack, you're going to do unbelievable amounts of damage. So just because of the ridiculous amounts of damage that they can do, like just obscene amounts of damage, is the reason why I put them higher than, let's just say, LR Tech Broly. Also, the fact that they have shocking speed, that they have tournament power. What the hell is solid support? Oh, solid support has, that's what Rival Duo used to be. Okay. I'm like, bro, I just noticed that on the last unit that I was talking about, solid support for the androids. And, okay, that's a decent link. Soul versus Soul is terrible, but this dude has tournament power, which is 3 ki there, and then over in a flash, which is 3 ki there as well. And then obviously 10% for attack there, 10% for attack there, fierce battle, 15% attack, and then shocking speed. So if you just match up his links, you're at 8 ki just from his links. So getting that 18 ki super is not going to be hard. And he also lowers the attack by himself. So if he uses that 12 ki, or if somebody before him, like having 2 LR Goku Friezas on a rotation is not bad. Because the first one is going to lower the attack for the second one. The second one gets an ultra. Boom. Insane amounts of damage. Insane amounts of damage. So having those 2, very, very good. Isn't that right, Gollum? All right. Let's keep it moving. So Goku Frieza, high up on the list. Never had him this high before. I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't know. Another dude that's going to be very high up on this list is this boy right here. AGL Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, or AGL Super Saiyan 1 Gohan, whatever you want to. He's a transforming unit, so he goes both. This was probably one of the best, most disappointing units in the game because his passive skill, his active skill, or his transformation is probably the worst in the game. It's way too restrictive. It's stupidly restrictive. It's so silly. You have to be below 58% HP and you have to have Android 16 on the team. Unfortunately, you cannot run Kamehameha or Super AGL or Hybrid Saiyans or Full Power or Transformation Boost or Goku's Family or Youth or Super Saiyans or Kamehameha or Bottom Master and Disciple or Super Saiyan 2 or Exploding Rage or Rapid Growth with an Android 16. You can only run Android Cell Saga, which is moronic. The other way that you can do it is you have to be below 58% HP. You have to have any type of Android on the team, and you have to wait 5 turns, which that's a little bit better because you can get away with that on Goku's Family. Under LR GoBros with the siblings bond, you can put MVP 17, the physical 17 on there and kind of get away with it. But even still, it's not fun. Now, what saves this guy is the fact that his 12 and 18 keys stack defense and stacks it very quickly. He gives himself 100% attack and defense. Also, every turn, he gives himself 1 key and 10% attack and defense, up to 5 key and 70% attack and defense. So he's going to do a ton of damage. He can easily do 3 to 4 million damage just off of super attacks, just in this form. And if by some miracle you're able to transform, then he does some of the highest single target damage in the game, right? Just gaining a bunch of key orbs. If you got Super Saiyan Goku on your rotation, the damage is obscene. It should be illegal. That's how much damage he does. But even in this form right here, he's an amazing unit, specifically and particularly for longer events, Infinite Dragon Ball History, Legendary Goku event, etc., etc. So that's the Gohan right there. He does belong there. Another unit who is kind of the opposite of Gohan is the Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku. I was contemplating putting him higher, but I'm going to leave him here because, again, even though his restriction is a lot better than Gohan's, he does have a restriction, and that's he needs Super Saiyans on his team, on his rotation to hit as hard as possible. He does a ton of damage per orbs, and he gains more damage per orb if you have Super Saiyans in that rotation. He can do tons of damage very, very quickly, very easily. First turn, doesn't have to build up. He also lowers attack and defense on his 12 key and seals super attack, which is nice. And then, of course, he gives himself 59% defense. But if you're doing 12 key super attacks, you're greatly raising your defense as well. So you can be pretty good. You can kind of pick and choose what you want to do in the particular situation. But just the absurd amounts of damage that he can do. Turn 1, 5 million damage, 6, 7 million damage, right? As long as the team composition is correct, is what boosts them really, really hard. Kind of like the LR, really, really high. Kind of like the LR Goku Frieza. But again, if you're doing nothing but 18 key super attacks, your defense is going to get pretty good. I don't think they tell you exactly how high you get to. No, I believe it's 30, what is it, 36? No, it's 7%. So it's 21%, I believe, is the highest his attack and defense can get to, because he's not included by himself, but that's still a ton. 21% attack and defense per orb is a lot. And the fact that he changes the orbs himself, there's a lot of reasons why this guy is really, really good. But again, the reason why I'm keeping him in the tier that he's in and not the next tier up is because of the fact that he needs Super Saiyans on his turn. So if you're on the Last Resort, if you're on, really just Last Resort, movie heroes, I guess, you can have non-Saiyans on there. He's not really going to gel. But Goku's Family, Super Saiyan, Pure Saiyans, that's good. And even on Pure Saiyans, you can have like a base form character or whatever. So he can kind of get screwed there. But regardless, let's move on. Ultra Instinct Sign. We're almost done. So you already know Kale and Caulifla. I don't really have to go like too ham on why these girls are so good, but they just do just everything. They can be considered one of the best defensive units in the entire game. They stack defense both on their 12 and 18 key. I would probably say that they're the best defensive LR in the game. I still think that they're the best defensive LR in the game. It really depends. For long events, 100% they're the best LR in the game. For shorter events, they're still really good though. But anyway, the reason why they're really good is they give themselves 66% attack and defense. They guarantee an additional attack. Every single time they attack, they give themselves 1 key up to 6, and a chance to dodge by 6%, up to 66% dodge. Unbelievable. And if they have Universe 6, Joint Forces, or Pure Saiyans on their team, they gain 10% per whatever category you're on. So if you're a Universe 6 Joint Force Pure Saiyan, aka their TUR, then they're going to get 30% off of that one character, which is unbelievable. Not to mention, if you're facing a Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan enemy, which there is a lot of, you are guaranteed doing an additional super attack. So that's your normal super attack, that's your guaranteed additional. Then there's the guaranteed super attack, which is ridiculous. They just do everything and anything, and anybody that tries to argue that they're not top tier is just a hater. I can't even argue with you because you don't understand reality. So they're absolutely unbelievable. Another card that's absolutely unbelievable is the LR GoBros. GoBros are insane as well. I love cards that do what these guys do, and this is my argument with anybody that tries to say that LR GoBros don't have good links. Their links don't matter. Just like Kale and Caulifla, their links don't matter. If they had no links, they'd still be an amazing card. Why? Because they give themselves 58% attack and defense. They guarantee launch an additional attack, just like Kale and Caulifla. But for them, it's got a 30% chance of becoming, or 25% chance of becoming a super attack. And for every attack they do, just like Kale and Caulifla, they give themselves one key, attack and defense 10%, and that goes all the way up to 5 key, 100% attack and defense. Now, something serious. There's something serious. That's calculated separately. It's calculated separately. So after 10 attacks, they're going to be at 216% attack and defense. 5 key, 216% attack and defense. 10 attacks. Keep in mind, they're guaranteed to do an additional attack. So the longest it's ever going to take them to reach 216% attack and defense is going to be 5 turns, because they're attacking twice every single turn. Minimum twice every single turn. If they get an additional attack, they're going to attack 3 turns. So they could theoretically 10 attacks take what, 3 turns if they attack 3 times, or almost 3 turns. But even still, like, these dudes get that. No, 3 turns. These dudes get that passive built up so fast, it's unbelievable. So who cares what their links are? Who cares if they only got 1 key link? They give themselves 5, and they're already gaining 6 from the leader skills, so that puts them at 9. So at that point you only need 3, and we ain't even talking about their link skill. We ain't even talking about if someone's passive gives them key. They're just unbelievable. And then their active skill is incredible. If you drop below 59% health, you gotta make sure that 3 turns of battle have already started. But drop below 59% health, you're gonna do massive attack, ultimate damage, massively raises attack, ultimate damage. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that is the Ultra Instinct Sign tier. And last but not least, you guys already knew, LR UI Goku. LR UI Goku is at the tippity top of global LRs. You guys saw it coming. Realm of God's lead. Disables enemy's guard, causes 12 on the 12 key. Disables enemy guard, causes Mega Colossal on the 18 key. That's huge. People sleep on it, but it's huge because it gives anybody going after them, attacking after them, that type advantage if they were type disadvantage, which is absolutely fantastic. And you typically will always have this Goku in the first spot because of his passive. 77% attack and defense, 70% chance to dodge, 7-0 for 7 turns. That's insane. After 7 turns, 50% chance to dodge. Oh, okay. Only 50? Oh, that's too bad, right? And every time they dodge, doesn't have to be in the first 7 turns. Could be anytime. Anytime they dodge, 1 key up to 7. And anytime they dodge, 11% attack and defense up to 77% attack and defense, which is just phenomenal. Keep in mind, that's calculated separately. That goes to a total of 213% 0.29, 213% attack and defense. 7 key. 7. You're getting 6 from your leader skill. I mean, his leader skill is 8, so 4 and 4, right? But let's just say you're on a normal Realm of Gods team, which is you're getting 6. All right, you're already over a super attack. Your key, just your key, not even your links. And he's got Prepare for Battle, and he's got Over in a Flash, and he's got Tournament Power. This man cannot stop doing 18 keys. You're at 24 at this point, brother. All right, it's unbelievable. He does everything, and he does it well. You can put him in a long event. You can put him in a short event. You can put him in a event where you have to do a lot of damage. You can put him in an event where you have to take a lot of damage. He's going to shine every single which way, and I'm pissed that I used 1,400 stones and I didn't get him. But you know what? We're going to go heavy on the Rose Goku Black and LR Brole Lemon Chile banner, and we're going to get enough coins to pull him in case we don't get anything on that particular banner. Either way, if you have any comments, if you have any concerns, if you have any disagreements with this particular list, let me know in the comments down below. I was just making sure I didn't miss anybody. I do read every single comment, and I try to reply to the majority of comments that I see. I want to have a nice open discussion on this list. If you come at me and you call me an idiot or whatever, then, you know, I'm not even going to respond to you. I'm probably going to remove your comment. But if you say, yo, I don't think that, Goku Frieza should be that low. I think they should be this high because of this, and that. Then I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to go back and forth. And I do appreciate people that comment in that manner. Because if you come in with your opinion and your own reasonings, then you can make me look at it in a more objective manner, and maybe you can convince me to lower or higher certain units. But again, it's all opinion based. So that is the last thing on that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider what you're doing with your life. If you haven't become a member yet, the Biz Cliz, the first tier, gets you emotes to spam in my chat. And if you want to check out my live streams Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, typically 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, the VODs for those live streams will be available to the tier 2 members. That is the elite of elites. Whew, the club of clubs. You already know the deal. Go ahead and gingerly ring that bell button. Essentially, kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodik. See y'all in the next video.